Perfect.
Hey, I would like to call to order the Village of Lansing Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, May 25th, 2025, to order at 7:02 PM. Jim, I forget, are you a voting member tonight or not?
Otherwise,
Yeah, tonight I can be officially attending a voting member.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. We've got two sets of minutes. The first one is February 25th, 2025.
is that the one you were not here for?
Yes.
I move that we accept the February 25th minutes as we amended, as presented. Whatever.
Motion by Lisa,
Second.
second by Lorraine, all in favor?
Aye.
And Pat abstains, I assume, okay.
Mike, I think I might have to abstain. I think that's the meeting I was not officially present at.
Okay,
2 abstentions.
yep, so Pat and Jim abstain. Other than that, unanimous. The second set of minutes are from March 10th, 2025. Motion by Pat,
Second.
second by Lisa, all in favor?
Aye.
And all I did was take the changes everybody gave me. And just, didn't see any sense in killing a couple of trees. Running them out here for you.
I don't.
If you want me to, I will.
Responded to it, March 10th.
It's a lot of tree units.
It's a lot of tree units for
It was.
the minutes, yeah. Okay. Wow. Next item on the agenda is the public comment period. Opportunity for anybody from the public to bring something up that's not already on the agenda tonight.
Do we have any poll?
Susan Ainsley covering for the trustees.
Hey, Susan.
Carla Marceau, I'm here observing for the community party.
And hey, Carla. Hearing no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to close the public comment period.
So moved.
Motion by Lisa.
Second.
Second by Lorraine, she just beat you, all in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is to continue discussing tree law changes. The planning board will look to approve the final changes to the local tree law, and I know that there was a bunch of work between our last meeting and this one, so thank you, everybody, for that. Lisa or Lorraine, do you want to just kind of chat about the last sets of changes? I also know that Natalie did find some things from Poughkeepsie and Seacliff. And those are printed out here for us to discuss tonight.
You did, thank you for digging for those. They look pretty good, I've looked through them.
So what did we do? What did we change? We changed the one?
We changed appendix H, and we created appendix I. So appendix H, we changed the title to tree unit value and planting standards.
I think it was tree unit value chart and planning standards.
Not according to this. Oh, hold on, let me print out, I did print out those pages.
Oh, there you go.
No, H says tree unit value and planting standards.
Oh, at the top it says it, yeah.
Sorry,
The thing that I had trouble with there was, it said, originally it said, last time we met, it said determining tree unit value and planting standards. And I said, that's a little confusing because it means you're going to determine the tree unit value and you're going to determine the planting standards.
Right.
So we grappled with that, and I thought what we came up with was just the title of the appendix itself was going to be tree unit value chart and planting standards.
oh, I didn't add chart in
Yeah,
there.
this one says tree unit value and planting standards.
And I don't care.
That's probably, then that's my mistake then.
Clear for somebody who's going to go to there. And then as the subsets in there were determining tree unit value of new and.
Yep,
Yeah,
and that's the first,
And
that's the
planting
table here.
standards, A 306 and 2 were in there, and that was it. But so I guess the only thing is, do we want to put the word chart in there?
I must have left it off for a reason. Maybe you and I talked about it like,
I don't know.
we might have gone back and forth, and
By the time we did finish nitpicking on this,
we probably decided not to, and
I'm
then,
absolutely fine with the way it is, but if people want the word chart in there, great.
Or does it need the word determining?
I think, you know what,
That's why we got.
I don't think so, I mean, it's,
check that out.
the appendix is about tree unit values and planting standards.
Yeah.
Table one
Yeah.
is how you determine tree unit
Yeah,
values.
yeah.
So I think that's okay.
Determining, but
Yeah.
And that
I
does.
didn't think determining was necessary in the appendix.
I don't think
So we took we took
I think
determining off.
Okay, so it's tree unit value and planting standards, that's that one. And then we have I, appendix I. And in that, we have, for the hard copy, we have the black and white planting soil guideline.
Pat.
Recommended.
Thank you for sending that.
Recommended plant list specification and note scoop and dump method dealing with soil compaction. And there were,
There were the two articles under 4. I added the articles in and added the links for the articles, because,
Yep.
and what other change? Oh, on page 2, Natalie wanted quotes and a comma.
Oh,
I added those in.
I think it's good, but I even questioned, we should say donuts, but she decided that was not good.
No, but I don't know. I mean, I said no, because then you're going to think of donuts.
And I thought it is sort of, think volcanoes, not donuts, fine.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I can't see. Words are important, guys. Especially in the law, if it should come to it, but I don't know how many
I don't
donuts.
think
donuts are.
I don't anticipate that one yet.
No, but once you get into this, if you're into it, you get into it, that's all
Yeah.
I can tell you.
And it depends on how deep somebody's reading this, right? We could be in trouble if they thought donuts and donuts were the tree. The other two, there were two other.
They're guidelines. Not,
Requirements.
Not requirements, right.
The other two thing, we changed a couple things. Number 6, let's see, wait a minute.
Number 6.
Where is number 6?
I don't see a number 6. One second.
Where are you at number 6?
Just hold on a second. Where did I?
Oh, after mulching? Was remember, 6?
Oh, that's all under mulching. Even the, remember the 333 rule, yeah, that's.
Did we get rid of it?
Did we get rid of 6?
What was the
What
title?
was 6?
When choosing trees, keep in mind, oh, we added it, we changed it to number 3, sorry.
Oh, there,
It's
okay.
number,
Yes. I was,
Added.
I feel like we,
we added negatively.
that's right, that was that whole conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, what was another one changed?
There was a change, was there a change in the law itself at all?
The scoop and dump, oh,
That's in
we
here.
added, added compacted soils, we updated number 4, dealing with compacted soils, and we changed the title on that.
Yeah, I think we might have. We had the links and all of that. So those seem to be in hand.
Yep, those, I think those are good. I think the bulk of the discussion, kind of goes back to,
Really, the 25% area.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that's hanging out there, really.
Figured out.
and I think, again, those, the two other laws that Natalie provided gives some options there.
So do we feel that we want to send it along and then deal with that later? Or what would, I don't know if there's any rush to, or should we just get it done?
I guess it's a question of, if we think that, I had a chance to look through these, and I think they kind of both have their,
Yeah, well, there's, yeah. well,
merits. Or is what we have right now, do we think, trying to figure that out is gonna take,
Some time.
a few months? Because if it is, I think that it would be a really good idea, given the time of year and everything, to get our recommendations that we have right now to the trustees and
Given the projects that may come up.
kind of get the ball rolling. Or do we think that, kind of taking and adopting, either some of the language or the thoughts that are behind these two codes into ours would benefit, some of the projects that would move forward here? I don't have an answer for that.
It would be nice, I think.
It'd be nice just to have it all
I
done.
guess one of the things that would be maybe important to get out there is the 6-inch thing that isn't in the old version. with the chart, right, determining tree unit value?
You mean the updated value system?
Right.
Yes, that is about the only thing that probably makes a difference, honestly. Although compaction, decompaction.
Yeah, I think a lot of the other stuff that's beneficial
Actually,
comes in
very-
like the guidelines
yeah.
of the appendix and stuff like that, which is great, but it's not a huge,
But I think that
shift in,
determining the tree unit value, it is a little clearer in the new one, because, you know, David gave us the stuff on
Yeah.
multi-stems and all of that.
Yeah.
And maybe that would be important to get out there for the season, I don't know. Because before, we counted bushes and shrubs.
Yeah.
And it was so convoluted, and also, I don't think it really met what we really want quite as much.
yeah.
So I could go either way. I'd like to just nail it down and not have to keep going back
Yeah.
to it, but, because I don't want it to get lost in the shuffle, but
But given timing of everything,
what does our code officer think?
I'm reading through clear cutting here and stuff, so that's some new definitions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I was looking,
so the question is, you know, like, do we kind of take what we have, the recommendations
Oh,
that
and
everybody had been
run it,
working
work
on
on this later?
with the appendices and recommend these to the trustees?
It's
And then
workable.
come back and tackle, you know, maybe some,
It's actually workable
Yeah.
right now, the way it is. If you want to come back and attack it, then I'd be all for that. But you are going to have quite a few things coming up. I hate to see this just put on the back burner.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of, too.
I mean, you've done all of this work so far. Do you feel that it's, other than the 25%, do you feel that it's complete? If you do, then send it on.
I do, actually, do you? This is the only thing, I mean, we just could not deal with it after all this.
Yeah.
We
I mean,
just,
to be honest, you could sit there forever.
oh, no,
Yeah, that- and
no,
that's-
no,
and that's
no,
what-
that's clear.
that's what I'm afraid of, is that we've made it 80% of the way, and this
I
last
don't want it
20%
to
is
be,
gonna take
no,
us 4
no,
months.
I don't want it to
Which will
die
put
on
us
the
through the
vine.
season. Yeah,
So I think
okay.
I'm fine with it.
Jim, do you have any comment on if we propose our recommendations to the trustees, what we have now, and then kind of come back and tackle the last little bit, you know, over the summer, but at least have something updated for this current season? Are you good with that, or do you want to see everything done before we make any recommendations to the trustees?
I don't think you can hear it.
Can you hear us, Jim?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Do you have a thought? Are you fine with us recommending to the trustees what we have now with the tree planting, or do you want to wait for however long it takes us to get this last little bit kind of hammered out?
Wait, you're asking me or Yamila?
You, Jim.
Oh,
You,
And both of you, but I figured I'd start with you, Jim.
Either way, I'm indifferent.
Okay. Yamila?
I'm in favor of sending it on right now, in part because as we learned from some of the other things, is that there's going to be some input coming from the trustees that's going to require, you know, kind of shifting or changing some language anyway. So I think getting it sent out at this point is actually really good to get that feedback.
Okay. I will draft something up, I'll send it to the trustees, I'll include everybody here too, and learning from past times. Would one of you or both of you like to go to a trustee meeting, and we'll let them pick where they're gonna discuss it, for us to go through the thought process about the changes that, kind of the highlights of the changes that we're recommending and why?
when would that be, do you think?
We'd have to get that from them.
Okay.
And if you can both go, great. If only one of you can go, I'll attend
It's in
too.
April, yeah,
Okay.
I think.
The 7th is their first meeting.
I wouldn't go without Lisa, because
7th, I think I can make the 7th.
I mean, you can do it on.
I can do it on Zoom.
You can do it on
but I would
Zoom, too,
prefer
yeah.
that we, yeah.
Okay.
Would you go on the 7th? I think I can go on the 7th.
I
2 weeks to prepare too.
Yeah.
You have it's different this time around because we get that extra
Oh,
Yeah,
31st, you have
Oh,
2
right.
weeks to prepare.
what did you say? We have 2 weeks to what?
the next meeting's not for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking about my home situation.
Oh. Okay, well, yeah, I will, I'll pass some,
that doesn't
I guess-
give, that doesn't really give them enough time to look at it, though, does it?
Oh, depends what else they, I mean, I know they have the budget, on that meeting, another local law.
Well, either way, we'll pass along the recommendations.
I would go anyway.
We'll pass along the recommendations, and if they're ready to discuss it to that meeting, great. If it's the second April meeting,
And you'll note that we're gonna take a stab at B.
at B later on, yeah,
Later.
there'll be
Just let them-
subsequent, but it really is
need to let
just,
them- Maybe they got some great ideas.
yeah, they very well could, who knows? Yeah, okay,
Good.
we'll do that.
Oh, my gosh.
And again, thank you for all the,
Very good.
Although Lisa, I'll miss sitting in your living room.
there's more things to talk about.
I know.
Don't worry. Okay, well, great. Next item on the agenda is other business. So the first thing is discussion of village code changes and corrections. Mike or Natalie? Both
Well,
of you?
Mike did the big lift
Yeah.
and
Oh,
reconfiguring. the
okay,
whole
so we've got, what are we looking at together?
So there's an updated chart of uses here, and then there's some
This is
information
the
about
one
LDR.
that I said.
Yes,
oh,
the
yeah,
one that says NSF additions 32125.
Okay,
So Mike did the big change in reconfiguring the entire chart. Thank you, Mike Scott.
Great.
oh, you know, I have a couple of questions.
And then I went through and just noted in green, minor things and in comments. The big thing being, as we discussed, and Mike circulated an email, the alterations to the building with or without change in use and with or without change in parking and what that means in terms of.
It's just, you get glassed over with it because
Well, yeah.
it's the subtle little changes.
No,
with the
it's
big,
important.
Subtle little
Yeah.
changes. It needs to be something consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah, no kidding, that's the most important thing,
Is the,
honestly.
yeah, absolutely.
Consistency is just huge.
And the fact that they have under 14559 special permit, they have an exemption, it just doesn't make any sense with everything else. And that exemption needs to come out of there. It's too confusing.
This is special, the following shall be exempt from the requirements. What is it, did you say, I didn't get all
Use
three
that does
pages.
not involve new structure addition.
Nor any structural output that could result in a substantial to the exterior and or site.
As a matter of fact, this just happened to me also. If I told you, I think I told you the last couple of meetings, possibility at the Llama building that there is an educational
Oh, yeah.
facility coming in there. Well, their attorney said that they would be exempt from special permit because he was reading this.
Which was
Exemption.
not the red part.
He was reading the exemptions, and it's true, what he read on here was true, but he was changing his use and changing applicable parking, which triggers
Triggers a special permit.
special permit. So they contradict themselves. So I had to come up with, if I've got two items that are butting heads like I would with
Which one takes precedence?
the uniform code, I would take the one that's more.
Greater or whatever.
It's more,
Restrictive.
Yes, restrictive.
I'm reaching.
It's not so much restrictive, though, it's more,
Burdensome?
yeah, sort of, yeah.
Restrictive.
Well, that's restrictive to be
Yeah.
burdensome, yeah.
But that's a change in use and parking. This just says
Changing
a
uses.
change in
use.
use
So-
that does not involve,
The following shall be
very
exempt,
confusing.
what does it say now, nothing?
it says this.
No, this is what it
Oh,
says
this
now,
is,
yeah, this is
so
what's in
this
there,
is what you want, delete it.
yeah.
And okay, I misunderstood what you,
This is what we have right now. I'm
all
trying
the
to-
stuff, and all the stuff in red you want to get rid of?
No,
all
it's just
stuff-
highlighting the language.
Oh, okay. I need
This
to
one, though, he would like to, yeah.
Get rid of, okay, that's why I thought, I thought we were adding that, we just want to be, this was just consistency.
Yes.
The first section, low density, high density, blah, 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 and then,
I'd like to see us keep an allowed use in every one of them being alterations to the building or improved site or change in use that does not result in a change of applicable parking, to have that be allowed without a special permit. But if there is a change in parking, to have it come as a special permit.
alteration or changing
Site
that
plan.
results in change in applicable park. Of course, we were going to talk about parking space requirements, but that's another matter.
That's another matter. And then what confuses me is that this is all under the auspices of additional conditions. And so it's labeled here as additional conditions when it's really a special permit that you need.
Yeah, the additional conditions are also confusing.
Yes.
Because you have to go to the back, and there's 3 additional conditions, sometimes 2 of them apply, sometimes 1 does.
And says if
just
it's
a lot.
A and B, then it's
Okay.
allowed, if it's not, then it's a special permit, so I'm like, so it's the allowed use in a special permit use.
So what I'd like to do is, I'll send you how I think it should be corrected,
Okay,
or an idea of
Yeah.
how it should be corrected to make it less confusing.
sounds good.
Well, yes, I'm getting confused now, I will say.
And then we'll kind of hash that out and bring it back to the board.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I saw the same things that you have circled there.
Yeah,
There's the right, so allowed, like, if you look, alteration to building or improved site or change in use, and then you get down to like HDR, it's like alteration to building or improved site with no. So, yeah.
What are you, so,
Just, it's
oh,
like
this was
discrepancy
a
in the
typo.
language and just
This was
making sure that
This
it's,
was a typo here?
no, I don't think it's,
I don't think it
it's,
is.
No, it's
I
not.
think it was
This
intended, but
this
it's,
is what, the way it is in the book?
yes,
Yeah,
yes, that's the
yep.
problem.
Yeah,
Oh, see, I misunderstood this whole
Yes,
thing.
this is how it is currently in the book.
Okay, and which is the problem?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So if you don't mind, I will
Right.
let you keep this, and I'll come up with an idea of how to change the wording that you have here.
Yes,
Just current
so
code.
this is the current language.
And then something needs to be changed on the chart.
Yeah.
Like Natalie
Yes.
had pointed out, we'll change that too.
yeah.
I think I was confused too, you know.
Yeah, I did,
I thought everything in red
You were thinking
was,
about trees?
yeah,
Yeah, no,
I was.
wanted the new, that was.
No.
I thought what was in red was new language.
Two.
Oh, okay.
Fair, and this points out just the kind of or not,
I
the
knew you wanted
non-standard language that we
consistency, but
have
I
given
thought,
things.
for some reason, I'm thinking, gee,
I had it printed out all in black, but then you look at it, it's like, what are we looking at? I don't even.
yeah.
Here in red are the
You can-
highlights
okay.
of the sections in each one.
Yeah,
So,
Supposedly supposed to be identical,
I would.
well, it would be, not. Yeah, but unless there's a reason for it not to be. I mean, if there is, then that's different.
That's the reason why it wouldn't, why it would be something.
What?
Or at least if there's differences, like, at least if like LDR, MDR, and HDR were the same, and then when you move into like commercial,
yeah.
it's different, but at least different for
A
CLT,
district
CMT, and
that
CH,
makes
right,
sense.
that kind of, yeah, that I could understand, but.
So, in terms of our chart, there were a couple of things that I wanted to ask about. I mean, there's a bunch, but I mean, we need to change some of the categories, right? But that's another thing too. But pharmacy, for example, is that just a standalone only pharmacy? Because we obviously have pharmacies, but they're part of a retail,
Yeah, like
so
Target.
that's allowed, how,
It's however, there's a definition of pharmacy. and
Right.
It gives you an example in it. And that's why sometimes sometimes there's a confusion between like special care facility and assisted.
no, yes, I recall,
And I have to go right to the
definition.
definitions to determine what best fits it.
So, but I thought, gee, we don't really have any just standalone pharmacies.
Right, so like,
So
the
that,
pharmacy at Target. Target's commercial high traffic. But
But what about,
pharmacy is not allowed in commercial high
no,
traffic.
exactly, but it's a retail, because it's part of, all of them,
Right.
because they're part of a retail,
They're all
like,
part of the mercantile.
that's what I'm saying, okay, so like Kinney Drugs and CVS, all right. I was thinking, well, wait a minute, and like the same thing that I've pondered over on Craft Road, laboratory.
oh,
How, I thought there was something about.
Medical laboratories.
Medical, thank you, I'm looking under L.
It might be wise for us.
How did that get allowed?
Chart on it might be wise for everybody to take like 4 of them, or not
Look, really go in depth.
I mean, go through and say, well, maybe this isn't even appropriate for here, and then come back and
yeah.
That's what I think
phase
too.
back and discuss it, or I can go through it also, the whole thing,
No, I think we
because I've
should,
been.
We can divvy it
I
up.
think we should share the
Yeah,
work.
we should
But
divvy
the
it up.
CMT is a good question.
But that one
Yeah.
has
That is
been
just a
bothering me
medical
for a
lab.
long time, the medical lab. I looked at our chart and I thought, how the heck was already, of course, was out of the barn, but I just didn't understand how that got there.
Is it defined as part of the
Your
hospital?
definitions, your definition, not so much word definitions, but use definitions.
As in our code, most specifically, yeah.
Might be nice.
Not what I'm
Be a
thinking.
clinic.
Because it's part of a, well, I don't know, but at any rate, it's been bothering me for a
Well,
while.
no, but I mean, to your point, like, look at that building, and then look at the definitions.
Yeah.
See what function are they serving?
I mean,
Does that make them a clinic? Does that make them a hospital? Does that make them
Well, they also,
medical laboratory? And then, right, so, and, which is what Mike does, but for us to go through and
Yeah,
understand that, I
so
think.
they also now have the medical laboratory at the mall.
yes, they do.
Well,
Yeah,
so it's the same sort of setup, really, because there's doctor's offices.
Yeah,
in
there's
the-
something about, whether it's something about, but of course, we also know when we did the ABC, oh my gosh.
Yeah. High class.
He and I sat,
Have the
and
hospital, yeah.
I kept saying, yes, but, he'd go, yes, but, I mean, I don't know how, we spent a fair amount of time on that one. Assisted living, I mean, do we ever change our definitions or put,
Not since I've been here, we haven't. So
because we
that-
still don't have anything in our code that talks about services for addiction and that kind of thing.
It talks about what?
Addiction, that was what we got kind of hung up on, is it wasn't anything that quite fit, you know?
Yeah, there was clinic, there was special care.
It was a clinic, or they were gonna stay overnight, or they were gonna be hospitalized, or they're gonna be this or that, and it was none of those. And we just really couldn't make it fit.
Well, and there's other ones that we've talked about too, like the entire concept of dispensaries is new. Do they fall somewhere? And if they do, is that appropriate? Or do we need a new?
Did we allow dispensaries here? Yes, just not lounges, as
No
I recall.
lounges.
Right.
Okay,
So maybe it's appropriate, I mean, again, it's a good, let's clean up what's here. Let's review what's here.
but we should be thinking about additions,
If there
I
are,
guess.
yeah,
I mean, this isn't a totally comprehensive, it says,
right. No, there's always gonna be, a lot of it, just like the Drug and Alcohol Council, ultimately that came down to Mike's interpretation of where does this fit the best?
yeah.
You're not gonna solve every
And there were.
possible case of somebody
Yeah.
opening
And we have
something
a
up
good
in here.
system. If somebody doesn't agree with that, then it goes to the board or
Yeah, the variance or whatever, yeah,
determine whether,
it's what,
Where does that fall under?
what's that?
Where does it fall under?
it didn't fall under.
The Drug and Alcohol Council?
Yeah, I mean. Hospital, okay.
But, no, it was it really doesn't fall,
What I determined as hospital, they didn't agree with it because the hospital was not allowed use within that district. So they challenged it at the BZA level, and the BZA could see how it was either like a special care facility or something.
well, I thought it was more that or assisted living, for
Something like
special care, I think, is what made sense. You could,
But it is sort of like a
you
hospital.
can't really make it fit, any of them.
Issue.
Or I was gonna say, right, this is exactly the problem we're discussing.
Hospital slash something, no, you can't. I mean, it was supposed, well, when it was open, it was going to be an overnight facility.
Yes, that was part of the issue too. So it was complicated, it really was, but we did not have the proper definition.
Right, there wasn't a
That was-
category
There was
for that.
nothing that totally.
So maybe we need one. If it
Including
never gets
hospital.
used, okay, I mean, there's things in here that,
Right.
like adult entertainment, we talked about undertaking, there's things that, it's definitely less of a chance than another bank or another fest, the things that would fall in here, but that doesn't mean we can't have them in there.
Yeah,
Right, a dispensary, maybe it doesn't get allowed, but we can put it in there, and it's ready for,
I just don't, I don't want to see us beating it down too much, but there are some obvious things in there that need.
Yeah, there's a couple.
So,
and we can tackle that in the second round, too. Okay,
Natalie's studying something over there.
she is.
No, I'm just looking.
I was waiting for her to take her pen and just be like, whoosh, circling everything, an entire column or something.
I had a question, and I'm sorry I didn't look it up. I'm a little under the weather today, so I didn't do as much of my homework as I would normally do. Home occupation, what do we mean by that?
There was a definition,
The definition in the business out of your house that does, what is,
Without, there is a definition, but I don't
the
remember.
owner, yeah, you'd have to read the definition, I don't have it memorized.
145.3,
4560 something.
I didn't have
145.
memorized.
I thought it was 145.3 were the definitions.
No, it'll be, you're looking for.
This isn't a definition, though, yeah, this is
that.
like a definition of like use, not of,
Oh, this is
yeah, like clear
Obvious
cutting or something.
Exterior usage.
special
Yep, it's past 59, it's like in 60 something.
chart of uses, general conditions. I used to have to turn.
Oh, with the special permit plus list.
Actually, pass this. Now you start getting into your definitions of.
Oh, but the home occupation itself is listed,
It could be listed there, or it could be listed up front in that definition.
I think it might be up front for some reason. Oh, home occupation includes uses, an activity, and, I guess, a little typo right here. Includes uses and activities incidental and accessory or secondary to the use of the dwelling unit for residential purposes, provided, however, that any such use and/or activity shall not be considered a home occupation, what the heck, this doesn't make sense, and therefore shall not be subject to special permit approval under the zoning law in the event that there are no employees, 50 editors note. Oh my God, we picked a really good one.
Okay, so I don't feel bad for being confused about that one.
I meant it at the time, oh my God.
Lisa, you better tab that page.
This isn't what I was looking for, though.
Look at 145.3.
That's what I thought, where I was gonna go. That's where the real definition
I
is.
believe it's in there also.
But look at this, it's a train wreck, I think. But, I mean, geez, I don't know.
145.
3, 145.3 is terms defined. Terms defined. I thought it was pretty well defined,
An
actually.
occupation, profession, use and/or activity
Which
which
is
is carried on by a person residing in a dwelling unit, which is clearly incidental and accessory or secondary to the use of the dwelling unit for residential purposes. See 145-60D for special permit requirements, and 145-82A-15 for typical uses.
Being incidental, you
Did you
can't have an office in your garage and rent it out to someone else. You have to be the
Which is
user of
clearly,
the
what
office.
does it say?
Which is carried on. And is,
By a person, building, and is clearly incidental, okay. I think it was the same.
sorry, Mike,
I think it's the same.
what were you saying?
He was just saying, you can't be the homeowner and rent your garage out to somebody else. It has to be
As
your
an
business in
office,
your
Right.
house.
you have to be.
It's your house,
I
it's
can
your
have
home
my law
occupation.
office in my house.
Right,
Yes.
right out of your garage. On nice days, you can roll the door
Everyone
right
come
on.
in. 60D then.
Yeah, so we clearly have a little bit of work to do on some of this.
Yeah,
And this is not gonna get done in a week.
no, this, but the minute you look at this and you have those two references,
2 weeks.
then you have to go and look up, be sure that 145 dash, 82A.
82A, yeah.
And the next thing are what you think they are. And, yeah, no, it's a big undertaking.
I'm gonna start looking through this stuff. I've
Okay,
gotten over the hump with some of the requirements that I've had to do, so.
Summer project?
Project. Yeah. Stormwater, cooking code.
reference, what, here, it's over here. 145-82A and 145-60D.
Employee cafeteria, food and beverage.
145-60C.
It is?
That's another one, too.
See, I know it's bullshit. I just don't think,
Think that,
I'm just telling you.
I mean, how do you have an employee cafeteria and food beverage in a residential area?
Yeah, that seems, well,
Yeah.
another list of like the additional, it's,
Yeah.
this is, the code in this is like, has 3 different sections you need to look at to figure out what is a permitted use where.
Yeah.
I know, it's not good.
No.
Can we change that and not have it in
Yeah.
different sections?
I guess in my home occupation, I can have an employee cafeteria.
For you. Yeah, it's your kitchen. Yeah. My cafeteria is also my kitchen because it's my house where I'm
But yeah,
my
even
law
if
firm
Lisa
out
just
of
said the
mind.
internal reference to home occupation is wrong in the definition. It should be 145-60C, and it's 145-60D. Okay. So, much to
Rest
do,
my
much to
case.
do.
I'll start working on it more.
Okay.
Okay, there's work to be done.
That clearly does not answer your question, Yumila.
No, but you know what? It's fine. I'm happy that I've unearthed a new thing to look at. But then I have another kind of global question. There's a couple of things here. I mean, I know our goal was to clean up the chart, and that's a very specific thing to do, but every time we go to clean up the thing, it brings up other things. So like, for instance, there's a few uses that are in commercial high traffic. That, maybe once upon a time when we were thinking about how we would like the village to develop made sense, but like right now, thinking about commercial high traffic, that's where you want your best density. So there are certain uses on here that are incompatible with commercial density, that in the way that we see that in this day and age compared to maybe 1995 when we first did this. And I wonder if we want to talk about those at all, or if we're just going to straight up just clean it up and then move on to bigger questions later.
I think we want to talk about that and look at, I think Mike Scott referenced, each person taking a chunk and looking at where it's now allowed and how and with what sort of authorization, and where it should be allowed and how with what authorization, and should we take it out of the current district it's in, should we add it into current districts that it's not in, and taking a closer look at that as part of this practice.
I think that's a great idea, but I think we should have exactly what you just said written down as a checklist. Should it be allowed, exactly what you just said, so that we all are looking
Have instructions.
at it the same
We have the
way.
same criteria as we're tackling
Yeah.
our sections.
Because, you won't otherwise.
And then maybe are all of these defined, so like large equipment, is that defined in 145.3?
Large equipment. No, it is not, there's no L's A, it starts with lot.
Go into 60 whatever again.
Yeah.
Okay.
14560,
60, no, it's after the chart of uses.
after I see,
It's right after the chart of uses.
typical uses. Okay, oh yeah, that's where the clinic and assisted living, and oh my
We name
gosh.
that section chart of uses.
Large equipment, you
Uses
said?
defined, if it can't be
Yes,
in the
it is
definition
defined,
section,
it is.
it's
Okay.
uses
So
defined.
just,
Large equipment.
whenever you have that section, make sure you then go look at the definition, get an understanding of what it is, and then take a look.
So are all the definitions in there?
Well,
In one of those two
they are
sections.
either in 145.3 or they're at the end,
What is it?
they're in 145.82. Is that the only two places?
Yeah, the 145.82 I use quite a little bit. If someone is coming in and doing something new, I have to pigeonhole it into some type of use.
Typical uses.
Oh, this must have been not and, it must have been any. Activities, incident, so it's very confusing, I think, to have definitions in two places, so why?
Yeah.
Well, these are typical uses,
That's
like
right.
examples.
So we
not
have it in
necessarily
both, but I would
definitions.
rather they be in both places. Like,
Or combined.
Or just
Like
combine
A
something, yeah.
definition, B typical uses.
yes, something, because large equipment is not in definitions,
Correct.
but it's in typical uses.
And then it's also, you have to make sure you're not confusing the use with the occupancy.
Gotcha.
The use is what's clearly defined in our zoning, and the occupancy is what's defined in the uniform code.
That's your problem. Okay, then. Yeah,
Well,
well,
why these companies charge.
Yeah, right.
I know.
I think it's hard.
Now, does it seem like a steal? Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay.
So if you, let me make sure I get this straight. I'll clean up, and I'll bring in some suggestions, send them to you. and we'll kind of hash it away, and then bring you something at our next meeting.
For the change in use, change in parking.
Yeah, for that,
For
and then
Naples.
we'll make sure you and I will,
Write down.
and by cleaning that up, we may be able to clean up the chart of uses right
I
now.
forgot what you said, but it was all good.
Yeah.
And Pat will tackle the first half in the next 2 months.
Because then if we're all consistent with what would be.
There's 2/3. No.
Speaking of consistency.
Yeah. I'll do it right after the meeting, so.
We'll baby
It's that sort of like
Yeah.
this kind of crap. It's
As long as we're making, and I think that's the key, right? Things are gonna get busier here, come the second the second half of April, but
I've been
we can dedicate
so
time getting through these little baby steps through the summer.
trying to be
And, yeah,
thoughtful.
make progress on it.
That would be good.
Okay, any other discussion on that? Okay. Other business from other people, things you want to talk about? We'll do the trustee report after this, but Pat, anything you wanted to know?
Nope. I was wondering, so in terms of Lansing Meadows, there's just, is everything buttoned up on phase one finally with there were all these lot line, what was that? Did that easements, whatever happened, was that all resolved or not?
Pretty close to.
Pretty close.
It was the easements, which Natalie's been working on. It was being able to close out his SWIP, his stormwater plan. And then there was a couple of the little tiny, it was that easement, the major one was that easement with the
Lateral main.
lateral.
Oh, that-
Whatever, so.
You sure it's a main or is it a lateral?
It's a lateral.
It's a lateral.
It's a lateral.
I know that, just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, we're 99% of the way there.
Okay, so there's nothing coming up about anything new?
We've just been kind of, Natalie's been contacting John Courtney, and I believe Dondi's been involved in that to try to get something.
So what are we going to do about the last part of that wasteland-looking thing?
Last part of,
Because,
Where phase 2 is gonna go?
yeah, didn't we have the option of planting something there?
There's a-
Something never happened?
Is there a,
We will need to look at the terms of the landscape escrow agreement.
Okay. All right, just was wondering.
We'd have a few escrows.
And so, as I'm driving around, too, we have all these buildings that are empty now, it seems like, and some of them are getting a little decrepit. Is there any, now, I think I brought this up before, our code doesn't allow us to do anything. Is there anything that state law allows you to do about this? These buildings that start to fall apart and start detracting from abutting real estate or anything? Is there, does it necessitate a code change? Can you even do it legally?
Carolyn asked me to look into this at a trustees meeting
so like the zombie?
about zombie properties.
zombie properties,
More so to
yeah.
do with properties in foreclosure and the bank's requirements to keep them up during the period of foreclosure. So in my research, I did not find anything just about private vacant buildings that aren't selling.
about the only thing I can do is write something through the property maintenance code. Building.
Do we need to beef it up or something?
And I've done that with the restaurant up here on West Grand.
Yeah,
Done
that
that
looks
several
terrible.
times, and it got somewhat cleaned up.
Oh, you mean,
I mean,
The Chinese, yeah, yeah.
That's what it was, yeah.
but it's been there for so long. It's been there for so long. Just like the Trip,
Force them to sell.
I know, well, just like the Trip Hotel. He won't sell that either, and it's such an eyesore.
What's the motivation for stuff like that?
I mean, how much of a tax write-off is it?
They want a loss on their taxes.
Is it that big?
Depends on what else they have going on, they might.
I just don't understand. It just is a shame.
Yeah.
But that one, I sometimes look at some of those fences, I hope it's just not an attractive nuisance and somebody decides to go.
Who owns the Friendlies building?
Oh, then there's, yeah, Friendlies.
That's not part of the whole Brixmore.
Brixmore still?
I'm not sure that's, is it, do they own that one?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I see that Brixmore just added another sign out there. They have 2 signs now at the end of the driveway
One says, yeah,
for, and I'm like, oh, I mean, they only have Big Lots open, right?
No,
there's some other little one, I
There's the
think.
place next to the VA that
The
is
Faux,
still
with, there used to be
available.
Friends and Faux or whatever.
Yeah, there's a few in there, yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Out of
The
there
old
too.
builder's best.
So they have 3 then, okay. I never get down at that end.
Anything else, Lisa?
Well, no, that's it, I just was wondering.
Yeah, no, it's too bad. We actually talked about that in our goal, we're working on the goals for the comp plan, and we talked about that, like, because it's such an eyesore, first of all, but it's just, there's so many buildings in the village that are empty.
Who owns the Trip Hotel property?
Dan Holmick.
Who?
Holmick Enterprises, Dan Holmick owns it.
Like,
Same one owns Cayuga Blue.
yeah. Is that a working hotel or not? I never see anything anymore.
Blue is, yes.
But you know what, the same thing's gonna happen, because the parking lot is empty all the time. The first time I saw any vehicles was just like last week when the storm came through. Did you see all those
Oh, the
trucks?
next
It
thing.
Yeah,
was packed, and I was like,
They'll get sports teams and buses and
I've
things
seen
like
this.
that.
Not many.
For a while.
But I mean, way more regularly than you're gonna see those maintenance vehicles there, for sure.
right, like I did see 2 buses, but there were that was it, just 2 buses. I mean, they can't,
disturbing.
yeah, they can't run a business with that, with 2 buses of, it's just a matter of time, I'm sure.
What about you, Lorraine, what do you got? Jim, anything you wanna bring up?
No?
Emila? Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
I'll move on to, the trustee meeting was pretty quick. It was they even mentioned that in the, yeah, it was pretty quick. I'll pull up I had it here somewhere, hold on a second. The big thing, let me go pull it up. Not that there's really, again, a whole lot to discuss, but. Yeah, they did the public hearing for rezoning the lots over at Borg Warner. There was a little bit discussion, like public discussion about that, just some questions about what the language in the resolution meant. That was really the big thing. Budget-wise, they set what was the date for the public hearing? 7th, so they set the date for the public hearing, and that was really it. There wasn't much comment after that from the mayor or from the members, really just a little bit here and there, so nothing major. And it was like 30-something minutes, so it's pretty quick.
Wow.
Natalie, anything you want to bring up? Mike, anything you want to share?
Shooting for the second meeting in April for East Point North, East Point 2. And you could possibly have the people that are trying to move into Lama for a special permit, possibly have them at the same time.
So there's nothing for the first, as it stands right now, nothing for the first meeting in April, so I'm not gonna be here. I would like to
We're gonna
cancel that
cancel that, we
meeting
agree.
if, unless people have some other,
We could get together just to talk about you.
maybe I'll zoom in. I mean, yeah. Okay, yeah, can you, Mike, then take care of?
What was the
canceling that
date?
meeting?
That was it the 14th?
Yeah, it's a little bit later in, is it the 14th? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because.
Because the 31st is-
The first is.
Yeah, the first is a Tuesday. Okay.
I saw,
Go ahead, Jim.
I have something.
Yeah.
With all the echoing, people are talking, there's a lot of echoing, so did you say you were canceling the April 14th meeting, or were not?
Yes,
Yes, canceling it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
One last thing, and when I do get the information from East Point, what I'll do is make sure I get that to you early. And And I will also accompany that, well, let me back up. I'll try to get a full, if they have a full site plan, I'll try to get everybody a full site plan to take home. If, what I'll also do is I'll list out, like we had talked before about a special permit, about everything we need to check off going down through. I'll make sure you have that list, so we have everything down through there. So, see how it goes.
Did you hear, I know, did you hear anything back about 20 Bomax? I know that when they came to the trustees, there was discussion about, you know, you can't do that there just because of the increase in density.
Yeah, 20 Bomax is going back to their original application, so to speak, proposal, and that is to change over just 20 Bomax and leave the corner lot empty at this point. So that's what they're going back to.
Okay.
They would like to come and talk to the Board of Trustees again. I don't know when that's set up, I gave that to Jody.
Wasn't even the original, though, wasn't that more of an increase in density? Wasn't it kind of determined maybe that was more of an increase in density?
They were talking,
That would be allowed?
they were talking 250 to 300.
Yeah.
Something similar to that.
Okay.
And we told them then at our planning board meeting. In fact, I asked them if they would consider 150 because it was just too much.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were listening.
Yeah, it's more acreage. Okay. Any parting thoughts? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:53 PM.
Pat?
Motion by Pat,
Second.
second by Lorraine, all in favor. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you at the second meeting. Well, I guess it'll be the first